Let's go live now to Washington and speak to Behnam Ben Taleblu. He studied Iran and its nuclear program for the Foundation for the Defense of Democracies. Thank you very much, Behnam, for joining us here on the program. What do you think about these threats from Donald Trump that he's likely to tear up this Iran deal?
Well, first and foremost, thank you very much for having me. I think looking at the campaign used by the Trump campaign throughout this past presidential election season, he's both pledged to tear up the Iran nuclear deal and renegotiate it. I'm personally hoping for the latter, for him to renegotiate it, because while I believe in a diplomatic resolution to the Iranian nuclear challenge, the current deal, the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, or JCPOA, does have some gaping holes which do need to be plugged, and I hope President-elect Trump does work towards plugging them.
The outgoing CIA director has said to the BBC that tearing it up would be disastrous, that it would be the height of folly.
That is true. The outgoing CIA director has said that, and it's definitely not my place to push back on that, but I do want to note that we do need to change the dynamics that currently exist with respect to the U.S. and Iran over the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action. And why I'm saying that is because Iranian officials constantly come up on television and tout that the U.S. needs the nuclear deal more than they do. And what I hope the Trump administration does is change that dynamic and make sure that Tehran knows that they need the nuclear deal more than the United States does.
But perhaps language that Mike Flynn, for example, has used, saying that Iran is the major enemy, is probably not very useful either.
Could you repeat the question? I'm sorry about that.
The fact that, people like advisors like Mike Flynn saying that Iran is enemy number one.
It depends on how you organize and organize and categorize the threats the United States currently faces. If you believe it's non-state actors, groups like ISIS and Al-Qaeda, then you're inclined to look at different capabilities. But Iran has for a long time now been ranked as the largest and most active state sponsor of terrorism. The Islamic Republic of Iran has an entire state pushing and underwriting the apparatus, its terrorist capabilities around the world. It remains to be seen if Al-Qaeda or a non-state actor group like ISIS would trump those capabilities that the Islamic Republic of Iran currently possesses. But because Iran is simply a state, it simply has more capabilities and thus can pose a larger threat than some of these non-state actors. But because it's a state, it also has to be much more risk-averse in the challenges that it decides to pose.
Yet Iran is a crucial player when it comes to the fight against the so-called Islamic State.
Well, Iran is a crucial player in theaters that the Islamic State is active in, and I want to highlight that slight difference for the audience today, because while Iran does support fighting the Islamic State, it also uses the cover of the Islamic State's activities, be it in Iraq or in Syria, to grow popular mobilization units or Shiite militias in Iraq and Syria, to consolidate the Assad regime's control in places like Syria, and to basically kind of underwrite the sectarian slaughter that is going on, which actually created the vacuum that led to ISIS in the first place. Iran definitely has foreign policy aims with respect to Syria. It's its longest standing state ally. And with Iraq, it definitely aims to turn the country into some sort of a vassal, or at least keep its territorial integrity intact in some kind of state that is friendly towards Iranian interests and not U.S. interests. And it will use the fight against ISIS to achieve these larger foreign policy aims.
Behnam Ben Taleblu, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.